Shalom Rastafari, Shawendo, you know, Ras Baruchu Teferi, and we're going over a highlight, you know, this highlight of the discipleship radio. You know, there was something really important that came out, and this is to the brothers and sisters over here in the U.S., up here in the North. If you take our black brothers and sisters who, you know, if you see yourself as a soldier, or even some of our gangsters and our thugs, you know what I mean? Readjust your mind state. You know how Pac says a military mind for the Almighty Ha Elohim. And the thing is that if you pay attention to what's going on with the government, with politics and everything like that, they're actually starting to speak about a way. Apparently, they seem to speak about a way of the people nationalizing themselves. And Ha Elohim, the Almighty God, He will bless you as warriors and soldiers, as Ethiopian Hebrews, as Israelites. But He's not going to bless us as gangsters and as ratchet, immoral people. So this is something that we need to understand, that as soldiers for Christ, you know what I mean? As soldiers on the front line, for all my real soldiers out there. If you're a real true soldier, then we have to change for the better of our people. Think about that. How can a place, you know, we was thinking about a place, some of these places that these crazy people going into and shooting up. So these places, I mean, there's gangsters in these places. And how can so many of these people, they get shot up and nobody have anything to defend themselves or other people? You know what I mean? The good people don't have any weaponry to defend the other people who are helpless, the women or the children. Why? Because you live in a society or a political establishment that what happened was so worried about giving, from a racial perspective, giving people felonies, black and brown people felonies, and then you allow these evil people that are even on some of the police forces, some of the military, and you started to give guns to people who could be pronounced as loan sharp or crazy, and even in a sense extremists or even white supremacists. You don't have any black or brown people saying that they want to go kill a bunch of race of another people and walked into a building and shot them up. You may have had the you know, certain groups that went and asked for their rights, like the Black Panthers and other peoples who you wouldn't give rights at that time. And now you come to a time where the people who were able to be armed with these, you know, the semis and the weaponry that the good people would have needed to defend from these crazy and chaotic people, you put the guns right in their hands because you know, you were racist. You have a racist and evil system. Though being turned, that should grab the attention of black and brown people. So that should wake you up. That should wake you up right there to you being Israel, black people, us being the Jews. And even if you did say that this land over here, America or North America, is your land, you're still supposed to help your black brothers and sisters who want to go home to the promised land. You're supposed to help them get there so that this land can have its rest. You know, and even some of these things we had to really, like, if you're not reading the book, some people we don't know if they have time to get into the Torah portion, or they weren't able to read it, or whatever like that, or maybe they don't know what's going on. You know, let's kind of show them. Like, we were just recently, this is the last Torah portion we were in, and I think we were doing a metaphysical on the name Jotham. You know what I mean? But and that was just the beginning of a study. You know, this was the Torah portion we were just in. You know, the Yenegarachu, you know, Debarim, the words, which is the arrangement, the ordered arrangement of Ha Elohim. That's what the word is. The Debarim. Now we here in Laminhu and Matthew 23 and 31 through 39 has a good message for the people. He's saying that, yo, y'all were the generation that killed the prophets, man. You know, like, we be the children of the generation of them that killed the prophets. And if you look at back in Noah's time, you know, it's like being a Sethite. Everybody has the option as Sethites either to use the good light or you can use the evil light or the bad light, and that's another subject in itself right there when we're speaking about the Sethites. Though this message is to, the warriors, the street gangsters, the street soldiers. You know what I mean? You have to arm up in truth. You gotta arm up in the wisdom of Ha Elohim, the Almighty, and He'll be with us. You know what I mean? Enough of that doing that ratchetness or what people was doing serving the devil. Because it's ruining the children. It's ruining the children. And they're going to kill themselves. I know you don't want to create a generation that's going to kill each other when you have evil or people trying to stop Israel, trying to stop truly who you be within the Almighty. And this is a word, I remember, this is the word from the Discipleship Radio. We got the Discipleship Radio up there so you can see, I know we mentioned the number and stuff a lot, though you can see that right there. And this is on the Rastafari Groundation. Join the the National Brotherhood Front, the Lion of Judah Society, not the evil races. We're not talking about KKK and all that. We talking about Ha Elohim, the Almighty God Society. You know what I mean? Now, who would be stupid enough to go against that? To go against the Almighty God? He who can strike you with that lightning, the fire, the thunder, the brimstone, the earthquake, the meteors. All these things can happen. If you don't start to arm the right people, you know what I mean? You should not sit aside and let poor people be massacred or murdered without a way to be at least able to defend themselves. But though, before you able to defend yourself, before they can trust you, they have to see that you are with the righteous organization. You know what I mean? The righteous organization of the Almighty. This will free us. This will free us in the name of Ha Elohim, because, we came to be a light to the Gentiles, not to shoot and kill the Gentiles. So don't be trying to say that, this whole thing with these extremist groups, it's good that they're getting that right, that they start to understand that who the prophets are and the children of the gospel, because we pray for the well-being of humanity. You know what I mean? Now, if you evil, of course, we pray that none of your weapons shall prosper. And if anything, let them be used against yourself, so you don't harm other good human beings who are trying to live their life or trying to do the right things and come out of this poverty. You know what I mean? That this system has people in. So this was the word right here, So
it says these lands, this land over here on the other side
listen
of
for a moment.
Because they had asked. Now, here's what's interesting if you follow the themes, Chabarim in the Torah portion, right? As you follow the logic, the logos, right? The logistics. We get in the logos and the logistics here in HaTorah. We find that from the previous heavenly view, right? From a knock, Enoch, remember, concerning the vows. Heavenly view, right? From a knock, concerning the vows. Right, with their cattle. So there brings out the idea of one time.
We're gonna find the part straight up. Right, there's a part that is very important. That
view, right, from a knock, who are the Eptichem? Speaking of the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half
for the soldiers, for the true soldiers of the Almighty. Listen. The Eptichem, look, listen.
Who are the Eptichem? Speaking of the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh. Commanded them, saying that Yahweh Kem, who are the Eptichem? Speaking of the 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 Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh. Commanded them, saying that Yahweh Elohim have given you this land to possess. Ye shall pass over armed before your brethren. So it says these lands, this land over here on the other side of Yarden, because they had asked. Now, here's what's interesting if you follow the themes, Chabarim in the Torah portion, right? As you follow the logic, the logos, right? The logistics. We get in the logos and the logistics here in HaTorah. We find that from the previous, right, Torah portion, there was the vow. Remember, concerning the vows. Right, the vows. And the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half tribe of Manasseh had given their word, Right? They had vowed their words. Remember the instruction of the vows? Had vowed their words, right? Had given their word. Now, in response to their word, the conditions of that agreement, they wanted the land for their cattle. They had enough cattle. They saw the land was good for cattle. Okay, they had enough cattle. They came to Moshe. They asked. There was the reason there. Right, and they had given their word to pass over armed before their brethren, because Moshe said, "Oh, you're going to be like the spies that told lies, that discouraged the previous, your fathers, your parents, your patriarchs." Right, you're going to be just like them. And they gave their word, saying that they would, if given the land, they will pass over armed. They first would build cities for their cattle and their children. Note that order there. When Moshe responded, he put their children, their wives, and their children before their cattle, but they were looking, we could say, at the natural prosperity on that particular level with their cattle. So there brings out an idea of one's focusing more on their wealth, right, and losing seeing sight of the vision. Another key word here, as we look at the word behold in the translation in English, tracing it to the root in the Hebrew, brings out the sense of the re'u sense. Re'e, to see, seen more so than the hine, or behold, here, look, here it is, but to see, seeing, right? Behold.
Yes, I see. So, and this is the message to the brothers and sisters. I really hope that y'all heard that message. That's very, very important to us coming out of this Babylon, to liberate us out of this, this evil system that we be under. You know what I mean? And pray to Ha Elohim, things are changing. September 12th coming up, there was just the real 2012. Obviously, they were always worried about a 2012 because they were worried about 2012 because it was 120 years from the birth date of Lich Teferi, or the Son of Man, who became the Father Christ, His Imperial Majesty, QEDAMAWI, HAILE SELASSIE. And don't tell us they weren't worried about it. Maybe you weren't worried about it because you weren't paying attention. But they were, because they had 2012 is 120 years from 1892. So we know they were paying attention to it, though you were not. They always known that the Ethiopian New Year was the birth date of Mary and Jesus, Black Mary and Jesus in Ethiopia. They always knew that. And that's why in their millennium, they had the whole 9/11 thing, because they want to transition minds. That's what Dick Gregory was saying in his speech when he was speaking about that. And so we'll have to bring that up next. But I hope, brothers and sisters, I hope you realize, what this was saying and what this was about.
Oh, but they lost sight. What did they remember concerning the vows? Right, the vows.
The vows.
And the Reubenites, the Gadiel. So now the direct context, Chem. Who are the Eptichem? Speaking of the Chem. Who are the Eptichem? Speaking of the Chem.
Who are the Etikim?
Speaking of
the Kim. Who are the Etikim?
Speaking of
who are God's children? Who are the soldiers?
Kim. Who are the Etikim? Speaking of the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh.